Are you stuck in the maybe zone when it comes to solving problems in your business? Do you find yourself endlessly researching for something, for a solution, but never really taking action for it? Or what if I told you that indecision could cost you even more than making the wrong decision? If you are a physical therapy business owner or an owner of a medical practice and you are facing challenges, you are facing financial struggles or competitive pressure, and you are considering implementing something, a new technology, maybe diagnostics in your practice, but you cannot commit, then this episode of Your Practice, Your Money, where clinical success meets financial freedom, is just for you. See you in a moment. Hello, and welcome back to Your Practice, Your Money, the podcast where clinical success meets financial freedom. I'm Dr. Dimitrios Kostopoulos, your host, and today we are diving into something that can quietly sabotage your business more than your competitors ever could. And that is nothing but indecision. We're calling this episode The Cost of Maybe, because there is a hidden danger in not making a decision, whether it is about bringing diagnostics in your practice or hiring that next team member or investing in a new innovative technology. The biggest threat is not making the wrong choice. It is staying in limbo. What is really the problem with maybe? Let's face it, nobody wakes up thinking, I am going to procrastinate today. I am going to not making whatever decision I need to make my practice move forward. But in business, indecision often wears the disguise of research, evaluation, or strategic planning. It's like, okay, I'm going to look into this a bit more. I'm going to talk about this with a few colleagues. I'm going to talk about this with my spouse. I'm going to continue evaluating it. I'm going to continue looking on how that fits in the strategic planning of my business. Now, don't get me wrong. Due diligence is extremely important. But when the problem you are facing is real and present, whether the problem is declining revenue, staff burnout, shrinking patient referrals, competition, well, the time to act is not someday in the future. The time to act is now, because the problem you are facing is real and present right now. And here is the trap, right? The maybe zone feels safe. Why? Because you are not saying no to something. So you have not really closed the door, but you are not saying yes to that solution to your problem either. So nothing moves forward. You are stuck in the middle, and you stay stuck for as long as you are not making that decision to move forward. The business keeps leaking potential. Your staff remains frustrated. Your patients continue to fall through the cracks, and your financial bottom line is bleeding and suffering with minuscule profit margins or negative margins. So what's the psychology of this indecision? Where does it come from? Why do we stay, in other words, in that zone of maybe? It is about control or the illusion of it. So when you stay in a maybe, it gives you the illusion of control. We think that as long as I don't decide, I cannot fail. Fear of failure makes you keep being in an indecision, in a maybe zone. But here is the truth. Indecision is actually a decision. It is a passive no, and it comes with its own cost. Missed opportunities, delayed growth, staff disengagement, and increased stress because simply you have not made that decision. Think of this way. When you are looking into a solution, like, for example, diagnostic testing in your practice, it's because there is already a problem there. You wouldn't even be researching it otherwise. You wouldn't be even looking into possibilities to solve something, because what do you solve? You solve a problem. If a problem doesn't exist, your mind, which is designed to solve problems, is not even looking for solutions. The mind is looking for solutions because the problem is current. And therefore, the decision about the solution must also be current. This is a true story. One of the current hands-on diagnostics members, let's call him Dr. M. He spent more than 2 years evaluating whether to join hands-on diagnostics or not. He looked at case studies. He attended every single webinar I did. He asked a ton of questions. We ran the numbers on the ROI like 4 different times. He went through calling insurances. He went through speaking to staff, speaking to the spouse, speaking to relatives, to this, to that. All this while his clinic was struggling. Revenue was down. Patients were down. Profit in a negative territory. Referrals inconsistent. And his staff turnover was growing because the staff did not have something to look for some growth. Finally, after 2 years, he said yes. Well, today, or this month, it's about 8 months after he implemented diagnostics, and his business is up right now by 37%. He has retained more patients. He hired back a physical therapist who had left his business, and now that physical therapist is training with us on diagnostics. And when I asked him what he thought, he said, "My only regret," he said, "is not doing this 2 years ago. I lost 2 years of growth. I'll never get back." So it is about making a decision. And a decision is either a yes or a no. It is not a maybe. And frankly, this is not an episode about pushing you toward a yes. No, absolutely not. Because everything, every new thing, for some people, it is a yes. For some people, it is a no. But it is not. It never is the answer maybe. It's about urging you to decide on a yes or a no. Because frankly, a no brings clarity to you and you move on. Okay, I evaluated something. It is a no, and I'm moving on. A yes brings momentum. You take action. You say, okay, I'm going to do this now. Let's push forward. But a maybe brings stagnation. If diagnostics don't align with your vision, the vision for the expansion of your practice, your strategic planning, you say no and you find something that does. But if you are evaluating them because your business needs revenue growth, clinical differentiation, or a competitive edge, then the only wrong move is no move at all. Your business doesn't operate in theory, it operates in real time. Problems don't wait. And therefore, the right moment is now. Here is my final takeaway from this. Maybe is a decision to stay stuck. And staying stuck costs money, time, and morale. If you are researching a solution, that means the problem already exists. So the best time to act to solve the problem is now. And there is greater risk in indecision than there is in taking the wrong decision, because wrong actions can be corrected. Indecision just eats away that opportunity. And let me just say this clearly. You are not alone. Hundreds of physical therapy practice owners face these crossroads. But those who win are not the ones with perfect timing. They are the ones who decide now. Thank you so much for joining me today on Your Practice, Your Money, where clinical success meets financial freedom. If you are facing a tough business decision, I hope today's episode gives you the clarity and the courage to choose. Of course, for more resources, case studies, and decision-making tools for your physical therapy business, visit yourpracticeyourmoney.com. You will also find there past episodes, downloadable guides, and ways to contact us directly. And don't forget, please subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen so you never miss one of our episodes. We'll see you next week for another eye-opening discussion on how to grow and protect your practice. Until then, make the decision, because waiting is the real risk. Take care.